Good evening. I was just standing over here stirring up some taco meat, and I burned my thumb on the pan, and I thought, you know what? I should be vlogging. No, I think that this is like the right time for me to just start casual little weekly vlog, kind of like to see not only what I'm reading, because that could be fun, but also like how much I read in like a regular week. Like I don't have anything happening. There's no readathons, there's no whatever. Like I'm just hanging out, working, living, laughing, loving, you know. So let's just, maybe I'll have some maybe I'll have a little graph at the end, some numbers, so we can just see like what happens on the reg for me with reading. Okay, these are my beautiful little tacos. And let me briefly tell you a little bit about what I'm currently reading that we're gonna hopefully get to this week, because there's a lot. I have, once again, I'm currently reading like way too many things. So,
baby.
Yeah. Up first is that I'm still reading my depression book, Lost Connections. I did absolutely break it. While I was in Palm Springs. The sun in the desert melted the glue of the spine, but I re-glued it, so hopefully I'll be able to read it again. I'm also reading Thunderhead. I forget who that's by. I'll put the cover up. And this is like an archaeology kind of mystery. Maybe it's more of a thriller than a mystery. I don't know. So I'm like more than halfway done with that, but if I read it at night, I get a little spooked. So I've been reading it like in the early evening, and then in the later evening, I've been reading A Lady for a Duke. I think that's what it's called, by Alexis Hall. Is that who it's by? I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm like 60% of the way through that, and I'm loving it. It makes me cry every other day. I'm also listening to A Manual for Cleaning Women by Lucia Berlin. It's a collection of short stories, and I'm really enjoying that. I feel like there's like two more things. Oh yeah, Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, which I picked in my scavenger hunt bookshelf challenge, and then kind of got sidetracked and actually ended up reading like something else entirely, which is 100 Years of Solitude, which I was supposed to be reading anyway. So in some ways that video was a lie, but it was still fun, you know? So that's the lay of the land. That's the lay of the currently reading shelf. I kind of feel like I'm forgetting something, but that would be outrageous if there was one more thing. Anyway, I'm gonna eat my tacos now, and we'll see how much I read tonight. I have not read a single word today. I did listen to maybe 2 hours worth of A Manual for Cleaning Women. So maybe I should put up a chart of like progress today. Currently reading progress. Go. So that's the lay of the land as far as earlier. Since I did all those calculations, I have been reading Lost Connections this evening. I think I really do need to finish it, because it's the book that did not get finished in my last currently reading vlog, so it definitely has to get finished. I'm so close. And I have really been getting some good ideas from it. So yeah, I want to finish it. But tonight, the next thing that I'm going to do actually is try some new Heatless Curls. I just saw today online somebody using a pair of leggings to do heatless curls, and I have not actually tried any hairstyling methods pretty much since I grew my hair out, so excited to see what could happen. Okay, so I've wrapped my hair around the two legs, and then I think I'm supposed to like wrap them around my head. I'm gonna tie them up here, and then I'm gonna open up the waistband of these leggings. Wait a minute. And put it around my head. Okay, my hair is wrapped and attached. So I will be back for the reveal in the morning, but for now I think I'm gonna go finish the chapter I'm reading of Lost Connections and then read A Lady for a Duke. The Lady and the Duke. I don't know why I can't remember that title. Okay, good morning. It stayed on, so I just wanted to like give you the full reveal. I'm scared though. Oh my god. Oh no. Is this gonna be like horrendous? Okay. I mean, those are, well, the back is not great, but these are like, okay, the problem is just that this is like flat because of how I slept with it like that. So if you're gonna try this, I would try not to like smoosh your part so hard. I don't know how you could do that, but okay, these are my Heatless Curls. These ones are definitely like doing it, you know. These are, it's just the bottom's like not really curled, it's straight and like a little bit bent. But yeah, overall I just think this is so weird. I'm gonna maybe wet it and then like blow dry it upside down. No, I'm not, I don't have a blow dryer. Okay, yeah. Wow. All right, time to walk the dog. Okay, update, a curl update. They're mostly gone. Maybe I should have used some kind of hairspray or something. But I don't have any, so it is what it is. Also an update on how much I read yesterday, the first day of this vlog. Voila. Not very much. Hopefully you'll see my progress bars grow. And yeah, I haven't read a single thing yet today. It's like 1 o'clock. I'm just sitting outside. What? What was that? I'm just sitting outside enjoying the sun with this little guy and my second cup of coffee because there was a bug in the first one. I drank most of it anyway. But yeah, maybe I'll listen to my audiobook for a little bit. We come out here for a little while, basically every day, just to get some sun. Isn't that right? Yay! Good morning. Last night, me and Connor met up with Kayla to do some bar trivia. I haven't gone to a trivia night in so long, but we had a lot of fun. We did not win, but we did win one free drink, so that was fun. And it was fun to see Kayla and just, you know, try to think of things, because that's what trivia is, just trying to think of things. And then after that, I did actually read a lot more of Thunderhead, and I'm having such mixed feelings about that book. Well, hold on, here's the graph. Here's the chart as of, you know, yesterday. This is where we left off. I listened to more of my audiobook, and I am definitely making progress on Thunderhead. The book is about an archaeologist, Nora, and her dad was an archaeologist as well. He maybe discovered something, but he disappeared, but she found some evidence about something that he discovered. And so she ends up basically leading an expedition to find this like abandoned, like legendary city in the Colorado canyons. So she's with this group of people and they are searching for and planning to like excavate or whatever this like Native American ruin, but things are not going according to plan. All of that I think is, I mean, the writing is good. I'm finding myself like on the edge of my seat at times. I am getting like upset about things. I am like afraid of other things. And so all of that is indicative of like a well-written book to me, if I'm really reacting to it. However, some of the characters are really bugging me. Just the characterization. I'm just like, bleh. Something is being delivered. Okay, that is the dresses that I ordered. I ordered a bunch of dresses because I'm going to a wedding in like a week and I didn't have anything to wear. So I ordered a bunch of things. I'm planning to only keep like the best one, but I didn't have time to be messing around. So I got a bunch of them. If things go well, there will be maybe a try on in a little bit, but let me talk about Thunderhead. Just the way that women are described in the book, the way that they're characterized is sometimes just a little bit icky to me. And I think that this is common when books are written about a woman and from a woman's perspective, but by, in this case, two dudes, I think. So that's, you know, typical. And again, it's not like so offensive at all, but just some stuff sometimes I'm kind of like, I don't like that. It is paced very well, and yeah, I'm scared. So I read a lot of that last night. That's going great. I don't know how to talk about a manual for cleaning women because it's short stories. They're all sad, kind of dark, but I am enjoying it. I think that Lucia Berlin is a talented writer, so that's really all I can say about that. Okay, hello. I'm coming at you because I finished a book. I finished A Lady for a Duke, and I really liked it. It was so there were so many like heartwarming, heart-wrenching moments of just like friendship and joy and love. And romance, of course, but the romance is really not what made me cry. It was the other stuff that made me cry a couple of times. Really quickly, what it's about Viola, primarily, and Gracewood, the Duke of Gracewood. And Viola is trans, and so she went to war at Waterloo with her BFF, Gracewood. And in the hubbub, in the shuffle, she was presumed dead, and that kind of allowed her to like start her life as a woman and live her truth. And then like a few years later, she is kind of forced to come into contact with Gracewood again, and they fall in love. That's the romance, and it was beautiful. So as I'm sitting down to write my review, before I do that, I was just looking around on Goodreads on the web to see if I could somehow find any reviews already written by trans readers, because I would just like to hear those thoughts. And I'm sure that they have been written. I'm sure those reviews are there, but nobody was like, I am trans and here's my review, because I couldn't find anything that said that, which, I mean, fine. Why would you write your review like that, I guess? All that to say that I also read a bunch of reviews of people saying it was like unrealistic and like basically being like, you know, in the year 1818, like everybody would have been way more transphobic and nobody would have understood anything, blah, 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 blah. I got really worked up about that because it's a book, it's a novel, and also like it was beautiful, and like why is it so hard for somebody to be reading like a romance novel? These are feel-good books, okay? Why do you want somebody to be suffering? Why are you mad that everyone is understanding and that people accept Viola without having to have some big disgusting conversation about what does that mean, blah blah blah? Like, you wouldn't want to read that book if you were reading like a romance, you know what I mean? So anyway, yeah, I kind of popped off. You can find my review on Goodreads. My Goodreads is linked below. But before I finished that book, I did the dress try on. So here are the dresses. I did have 3 like good contenders, honestly, but I'm gonna just tell you right now I'm going with the third one, so don't tell me which one you like best in the comments, because I'm gonna wear the third one. I just think it's gonna be the most wearable. Like, I'll be able to wear it for the most amount of time. And also my only pair of like nice dressy shoes will match it perfectly, so there you go. Good morning. I finished another book last night, and that was Lost Connections by Johann. And it was fine. I'm really glad to have finished it. I started it, I think, in March, so it took me a long time to work my way through it. And that's because I just really did not get along with Johann. I kind of wish somebody else had written this book because I think it had a lot of important, interesting things to say, but the way that he said them, like the anecdotes, the personal stuff, I did not appreciate, did not enjoy. I don't really like this guy. It is a book about depression, and it's a book that seeks to really talk about the social and psychological causes for depression versus just the biological, where we have a dominant narrative about depression being that it's just the chemicals in your brain, they're out of whack, so you can take antidepressants to put them back into whack. You can, fix them and then feel better, and that does work for a lot of people. It helps a lot of people, but what this book is saying, and what I also kind of believe, is that there are a lot of other causes to depression. It's not just like some accidental thing that happened in your brain chemistry. It's like the world is crumbling around us, and that's why you're depressed. So Johann compiled a list of a lot of different things that we have lost connection with. That's why it's called that. And he does offer some ideas about how to regain that connection, feel less depressed. There is a small acknowledgement, like right at the very end, that a lot of the things that he's saying we need to do differently are like way out of reach for most people, and that's the problem. But some of the things are like, connection with meaningful relationships with people around you, with your community, a job that you don't hate, like connection with the natural world, being less materialistic. All of those things are part of the depression landscape. So also a lot of that stuff, I was like, yeah, I know. Like, duh, of course. Having a job that you hate versus a job that you feel like has meaning, and you feel like you have agency, you feel like when you go to work, you're like doing something that matters to somebody, could make you feel more or less depressed. But I did really find a lot of intrigue in the studies that he cited, and like kind of explained how they really nailed down, and proved that, going outside is good for you. And you're less likely to feel as depressed if you just go outside. And so I didn't love the book, but I am kind of glad I read it. But really, anytime I'm reading a book like about mental health, I kind of just wish I was reading The Body Keeps the Score again. So maybe I'll do that. But I do have 2 other mental health books on my shelf that I want to get to. I think another thing about reading books like that, for me at least, is just that, yes, it's all stuff that I know, but reading about it again and again sort of just helps me remember, and kind of prompts me to take steps and, do better at taking care of my mental health and feeling like less hopeless and such. So repetition of these things that are like obvious and I know. For example, meditation. Meditation is extremely good for your brain. Having a regular meditation practice lowers your risk for not only mental illness, but like all kinds of physical illnesses as well, and on and on and on. And I know that, and yet my meditation practice only ever lasts like 15 days tops. And then like, not even like I don't do it every day anymore. It's like I just totally stopped doing it for like a month or more. And so always reading more books that are telling me about all of these things that I can be doing that are going to be good for me, including meditation. Like, I think it just helps to be reminded. So that's why I keep reading them. Voila, the chart. As you can see, I have finished 2 books now, and I am really getting somewhere with Thunderhead. I probably could have finished it last night, but I wanted to go to sleep, so I didn't. So yeah, that's it for me for now. Going back to work, gonna keep listening to my audiobook. It's kind of hard for me to get like deeply into the audiobook. It is short stories, but I rarely like actually listen to just like one short story on its own without like stopping it. So today I really think I'm gonna try to do that. and we'll see what else happens. I don't know. Okay, it's Friday night. I am reading again. I'm reading Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead tonight. And I will probably finish Thunderhead later tonight. But I did just want to say my Goodreads Want to Read shelf has had like 200 to 250 books on it for a while. I add books to it whenever I see somebody that I know on Goodreads who has read something and I'm like, oh, I want to read that. Or if I'm book shopping, even if I'm not going to buy every book that I look at that I want to read, I will often add them to that list, and then just so I know, and then I cross add them to a tag that I have of safe books on Libby, blah, blah, blah. But basically I have really for the past like year been in the back of my head wanting to lower that number. Is this light behind me horrible? Oh my god. I have in the back of my head for a while been thinking like, oh, I need to get my Goodreads Want to Read shelf down. Like I should only be reading books that are already on there. I should be more careful when I'm adding books. I don't know. I just was feeling some pressure that I just put on myself to like have that be a lower number. And when I saw people who had a shelf that had like 800 books on it, I would be like, oh my god, you're crazy. Bear with me a moment. I saw on Instagram like yesterday, or maybe it was this morning, somebody saying your body exists so that you can experience life, not so that you can like make it into a one specific shape. And I was like, okay, yeah, I like that. You know, if we're out here with our beach body propaganda, that's a nice thing to think, that your body exists just for you to be able to experience your life. But then I was like, you know what? And my Want to Read shelf exists just for me to collect in one pile all of the books that I have heard about from so many different sources in my life, and just like have all of that together in one place so that I remember that I at one time heard about something and I wanted to read it. So I am now going absolutely bananas on my Goodreads Want to Read. So I'm feeling a huge sense of relief and freedom now that I've decided I don't care how many books are on my Want to Read shelf. And if you needed to hear this so that you could feel the same, I hope that that all worked out. Now I'm returning to my book. Thank you. Hello. Let's really quickly just take a look at my stats from end of day last night. You can see that I have made a lot of progress on Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead and a bit of progress on Thunderhead. And I also still am listening to A Manual for Cleaning Women. But this morning I did actually finish up Thunderhead, and I did give it 3 stars. I thought it was a good book. It was not like amazing. It didn't blow me away, but it was, I'm glad I read it. I liked it. I did find a lot of fun things to be Googling about, which I love. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to continue with the series because it just like, it didn't wow me. And I think that the parts that I did really like about it don't seem like they're necessarily as present in the next book in this series. And yeah, I just, the issues that I had that I sort of said yesterday, about like characterization, all that was still present for me. So that's that on Thunderhead. And that means that now I just have 3 books on my currently reading. I am definitely feeling better about where I'm at. I know that a couple of months ago when I did my other currently reading vlog, was that literally last month? Maybe it was 2 months ago at this point. I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna really commit myself to just one book at a time, none of this reading 6 books at once nonsense, and then immediately the nonsense was back. So I'm recommitting myself again to this goal of like 3 books tops at a time, and we'll just see how it goes. Good morning. Here are my stats. Here's the progress bar. Once again, you can see that I have made even more progress on, what is it called? Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. I did read that quite a bit last night, and then I actually decided to crack open and make some time and make some mental space to start to get into 100 Years of Solitude, and I did do that. So those are the stats. Okay, so things are not going to plan. I have been listening to my audiobook while I'm watching some sprints that are being hosted by Kayla and Bailey. Love those guys, so love to just have them be chit-chatting while I'm baking. But yeah, things didn't go to plan with the cake that I was making, and in a lot of ways that's what I get for not following a recipe at all. But I did not follow a real recipe, just like an essence of one. Other than that though, today Connor took the dog to the dog beach, so I'm just hanging out reading. This is a pretty typical weekend, I feel like. I do want to go hang out with Kayla later today, and tomorrow's a holiday. It's the 4th of July, so Connor has off, so maybe tomorrow we'll do something fun. But yeah, I am still listening to Manual for Cleaning Women, and I really like it, but I don't think I should have listened to it, but it's too late now. Because the audiobook is narrated by several different people, but they don't alternate every story. So a few stories in a row will be the same narrator, and then we'll get a new one for the next couple of stories. And because all of the stories have such similar themes, settings, even characters, and for that reason I think a lot of it is kind of semi-autobiographical, if you will. It's confusing because I don't really know what the parameters of each story are, and I wish I did, and if I was reading it I might. So that's getting in my way a little bit, but her writing is excellent. So many of the stories have been so poignant. It's always also a delight to read some short stories that I actually like, because I find that I really don't like them so much of the time. Not that I like all of these, but again, I'm not really sure which ones are which. Okay, good morning. Here are the stats. Here's the standing. Here's where we're at as of last night. I am definitely making significant, strong progress on my audiobook, so that's great. I don't know if I'll finish that today, but I definitely will finish it within the next 2 days. And I'm also really close to done with Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, so I think I'll definitely finish that today. That will be my goal. And then I will be able to close this video after 1 week, which today is the last day. Sorry. Hopefully having finished almost everything that I was currently reading, and then I'll be ready to dive into my next read, and I will try to keep a handle on how many books I open. You know what I mean? Okay, so time for our final stats of the video. Time to see exactly how much progress I made on all my currently reading books in the last week. Here she is. As you can see, I did finish Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead last night, and I'm really close to finishing A Manual for Cleaning Women, and that's pretty good. My final thoughts on Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead are as follows. Okay, yeah. I really liked it. I actually loved it. I think there was a lot of interesting stuff explored. There is, of course, the animal rights / welfare stuff. But there's also just a lot of interesting observations and ideas about the human condition, and hunter versus hunted, us versus them, fate versus free will, like all of that gets explored in a very interesting way. And for that reason, I kind of feel like it's a book that you could read it as being about like anything, like any of those like conflicts, any big conflict you could probably find something about in this book. And so I think that's probably why it is so well regarded. But definitely the free will versus like fate sort of thing is very interesting. And something I don't think I mentioned really at all in this is that the main character is an astrologer. She's very into astrology and horoscopes, and she talks a lot about how the stars are encouraging different things or causing, or like you could see, of course, this was going to happen on this day because of these aspects or whatever. So even if you really don't know anything about astrology, I don't think it would cause a problem. Just knowing like her thoughts on what's happening is enough to really support you through the story. And I don't want anyone to be put off thinking this is an astrology book if you're not into astrology. Doesn't matter. This was fantastic. And so the final counts are that in the last week I read 601 pages and I listened to about 5.5 hours of an audiobook. So I do think I read like a little bit more this last week than I do in a typical week, but I kind of dropped the idea that I would try to just capture a regular week and got kind of into the idea of like finishing my currently reading. So sort of changed gears halfway through the video there, but you know what? I'm still really happy about like how many different things I got to talk to you about and how many like good things I feel like I read, and now I feel caught up. So I love to feel caught up. And that brings us to the end of this vlog. So thank you so much for tuning in, for hanging out with me, for watching, and for liking, commenting, and subscribing. I really appreciate every single one, really. So thank you again, and I will see you back here next week for another video.